Hey, Renee, Chris, and Ryan going live. Best podcast, Beauty and the Beast. Sit back and catch a vibe. Oh yeah, we talking zombies and apocalypses and all those things you like. Going beast mode, and if you didn't know, it's Peter Z up on the mic. Whoa, hey, TWD family, grab the snacks about the pantry and subscribe and like if you can, please. Or those walkers eat you like some candy. Hey, okay. You at the right place at the right time. No one does it better, that's the bottom line. Beauty and the Beast, this is prime time. Let's go.
I'm just saying, it'd be really awkward. I chose the wrong one.
It would be, but we did good.
We did good. We got here. And knock on wood, no technical difficulties.
Whoa!
I knocked on wood. It's okay.
But it's way too early to even say that. Like,
why would you say that first off?
Now, you don't want to say that before you say it.
Don't want to put the cart before the horse, so to speak. You know.
This is going to be a mess.
We are a professional mess.
yes.
Yes.
So we're back. Hello to everybody out there watching.
Hello.
The man who is with us tonight doesn't need an introduction, but of course we're going to give him one anyway. We
I think I need
definitely need it. Oh goodness, we are here with the one and only Steve Coulter, currently on She-Hulk. You also were on Yellowstone. Of course, we know you from the golden years of the TWD.
That's where I met
Yeah,
you guys.
yeah.
I met at a
Yeah.
convention. Where was that?
Which one was that?
Do you remember?
Was that Walker Stalker?
May have been.
You were so here's where I was really upset. I was personally upset when you couldn't come to the camp this past May.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
I
we're
shed
so
a
sad.
legitimate tear fell from my eye.
We talked about that for weeks.
I
We're gonna
would-
get to see Steve.
oh,
Yeah.
I was so excited because I knew it was like I said, it was Yellowstone and everything we were hearing, and it was just like, and then
You need to get out of the house more. That's.
you got yanked out from right underneath my feet.
I missed the last two
Yeah.
camps. Yeah. And I've been all ready to go, and then I got to
Yeah.
jump.
But it's
Off
good
my way.
because it's for work.
It means you're busy.
So I mean, we're happy about that, obviously. How have things been? What obviously COVID's been a mess for everybody, but you've managed to stay busy.
Yeah, knock on wood, since you already knocked on wood a little earlier. Yeah, I have managed to stay busy. I'm really grateful. And traveling a lot, which is really good for for working, but you're not with your family. So you go to like cities like New Orleans and Los Angeles, and you see something cool, and you're like, because my wife, she loves restaurants and stuff. And I went to New Orleans for like 2 months last year, and I didn't really feel like going out much. Well, partly there was a pandemic going on. And I had to go to the Dominican Republic last winter for a month and a half. Acting is a tough job.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a year ago February, and it was a Jennifer Lopez movie, and they sent us down and we were there for like a month and a half, like in a villa on a cliff overlooking the ocean. My wife hated me because also she couldn't visit. That's one thing, she couldn't visit.
Yeah.
And so I would send them FaceTimes and with palm trees.
Right.
It's not a green screen, I swear.
Yeah.
We were all very grateful because that just doesn't happen very often. I've been so luckily I have been busy, so I'm very, very grateful.
So, we do have, obviously, we have questions for you. We're going to try to focus the majority of the questions as to what's been, taking the forefront of things here. So we know that you had a fellow TWD member on She-Hulk, being Nick Gomez. Were you able to like see him at all transitioning through or filming or nothing, or?
No, I don't.
No,
so.
huh?
I don't. Almost all my stuff was with Tatiana, She-Hulk, and matter of fact, I think all my stuff is pretty much With her, yeah. So I saw like I ran into like Mark Ruffalo in the makeup trailer, and Tatiana was in one scene, the courtroom scene where she. But yeah, so I was kind of isolated. Every time I came, it was just basically her. So I didn't.
Was that your
I didn't
first
see him
time?
at the.
Was that your first time ever meeting Mark, or?
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Yes, yeah. I've been a fan of his since he did that movie Kenneth Lonergan. You Can Count on Me. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really good movie. Gosh, it's like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Wait before he was Hulk. Yeah, he's just a good actor.
Now I'm going to ask a very Marvel question. When you met him, was he Mark or was he Hulk when you met him?
He was Mark.
Oh,
He was
okay.
Mark.
Okay. Was he smart
He may
Hulk?
have just been. He was smart Mark.
Yeah.
Mark. Yeah, I don't even think he was shooting that day. I think he was just coming by for maybe a fitting or something. Yeah.
One of the cool things is I never got to meet Mark, but Mark was directing and also starring in an HBO series. I can't remember the name of it right now, but basically it's about him and like his twin brother, I believe, and
Oh.
I can't remember the name of it. But anyways, the hospital that I work at the time was under construction. And so HBO's been doing a lot of filming in the area of New York that we're in, the Hudson Valley.
Yep.
And so they actually reached out to my company that I work for, the healthcare network I work for, and actually got approved to film in the hospital while I was under construction. And yeah, and so if you go and watch the episode where he goes to the casino, it's actually the hospital I work at.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and they had me, because I work security, they had me by the gate, the construction gate, to make sure that people, like, when they heard Mark Ruffalo was there, they weren't going to, like, storm the castle. And so he walked by and he waved to me. I didn't actually get to talk to him, but he was really cool, and he was just very outgoing, very friendly to people, which is kind of cool.
That's nice. Yeah, most people you meet, like I've been doing this for a long time now, and I've met one and a half actors who were kind of jerks. But apart from that, everyone is just kind of really grateful that they get to do this for a living. There's always at some point, because you're doing something silly, even if it's a really serious movie, you're still playing dress up, and it's hard, but it's not like I've had real jobs. I've dug, hand dug a foundation when I used to do a lot of carpeting renovation in Georgia clay. That was a hard job. Being an actor is not. I mean, the early part of an actor's career is very hard because there's so much rejection. There's so much uncertainty. I remember having, I had a 3-year-old and a 3-year-old and about 11-year-old, and you don't know when your next job's coming in. And that's when it's really hard. The actual doing of it is fun. And so that's why I think, people like Mark, and I think you can't, if you're a real jerk, you're not going to keep working, I think. It's probably another, like I guess in most jobs, I guess.
There's jerks everywhere, That's just
no matter what.
They're jerks.
Yeah. You always get a couple everywhere you go. So obviously everybody, for the most part right now, they're talking about what it was like, or how has it been working with Tatiana? I mean, as far as on set and everything like that. This is your first time working with her as well, so.
She's a monster. She's just a hard.
Literally.
She is literally a monster. She is, and part of when you have, she is in. The show is told through her point of view, so she's in. She has to be in every scene, except for maybe an establishing shot or something. So she was working every single day, and from I think we started April through maybe August, and then there's reshoots and all that kind of stuff. And she, first of all, not only was she really nice and kind and the kind of person who, there's some certain actors will only kind of hang out with the other actors of their status, those are the jerks. She's not that way. I mean, she talks to background, she realizes we're all in this together. She would talk to background people. The crew really liked her. I remember, the crew, they were exhausted, especially by the end of the shoot. And they all, every single one was always praised her because she was always just so kind and funny, and that perfect blend of, like in any job, takes the work really, really seriously, but does not take herself seriously at all. And then on top of that, she's a really good actor. I mean, I'm sure, I had seen her first in Orphan Black, and I was like, where has this person been? And I tore through that show. And then when I knew I was going to be on it, and she was playing the lead role, it's like getting to play with Derek Jeter. And that's one of the funnest things about acting is you look up to these actors where you've been watching them, and all of a sudden you're just working, right across the table from them. And there's certain actors that you act with, and they kind of have maybe set their performance, so they're not incredibly present with you, but she's just like right there. And if you shift a little bit in how you do something on a different take, she shifts, and if she shifts, and it's just stupidly fun. And she's just the nicest. It's ridiculous. She's just, and I'm not a big fan of human beings in general.
Same, man, same.
Yep.
Just too many people, But she's just, oh my God, and I think that really helped, and her energy helped. And she's not just acting in scenes; she's acting in the motion capture suit 80% of the time. And she'll have this big. They built this extension with a kind of fake head on top.
I was going to talk to you about that. Because is this your first time where you have to like pretend you're looking at something that's 8 feet or 9 feet tall, and you're staring at just like a tennis ball on a stick?
I've never had to act. I did some little bit of that just years ago when I did Hunger Games. We had all this pretend, cyber 3D stuff that was all just mime when we did it. But I never had to act with someone. And most of, I guess my first couple of scenes with her, she was Jen. But the rest of the time, because my character insists that she be this, she's Shield. And so she would either have that head or, and it's tricky because your instinct is to look in someone's eyes instead of this fake head on top of their head. And you get pretty good at it. You do there's that one long, I think it was in the second episode, that long walk and talk scene where she's behind me with a thing on her head. And often, I turn around and I think, often you just go, you hear the voice and you go, oh. and it's so odd, but it's odd for us, but I think she had to do it every single day. And but again, being a fan of the movies, it's like it's like a bag. I keep using baseball metaphors, but it's like getting to go, in the clubhouse at Shea Stadium or Yankee Stadium, because you do all every single wardrobe change you have, they have to scan you. So you go to the room that has the 280 cameras. Then there's another room where there's sort of another kind of capture, so that they can. If they have to place you somewhere where you haven't shot and things like that. But it's just so fun. It's never you finish a scene, they go, we're heading to scanning. Right. And it's just it becomes part of your day. But, and I was doing that here and there throughout the summer, but she's doing that every day. It's crazy. It's just, even knowing kind of how they do it, I still don't know how the hell they do that stuff. It's just, I think he's magic. So
now we talked a little bit in the pre-show about you being a Marvel fan prior and everything like that. So I mean, kind of like the question that a lot of people who make it into a Marvel movie, was this a big moment for you, or was I made it into Marvel?
Yeah, because it's sort of. Especially if you're, it's like the way I was a fan of The Walking Dead. I mean, I watched that show from the very first episode, and so you have this weird thing if you're watching as a fan of this show, but in the back of your head you go, oh yeah, this is how I make my living, and God, wouldn't that be fun to be able to be on that? So that, when that happened, that was it's the same feeling I had then when. Well, it's a little different because I hadn't seen She-Hulk, but just being part of the whole Marvel thing is just. It's what you kind of want to do. You want to be part of cool, fun stuff. It's like certain directors you want to work with, and it's and when it happens, it's just you want to play for the Yankees. You want to get to play in Ebbets Field. Well, actually, I'm a big baseball fan. For years, I wanted to see a game at Ebbets Field, and finally, a few years ago, you do. And it is little dreams come true. And we're not saving orphans in Taiwan, just making TV shows, but it's very fun. It's really really cool, and it's amazing. And you always forget how many people watch these things. I got a message from Pakistan today.
Wow.
From someone. What the hell? And it's that way with Walking Dead too, because you just forget that people. This is a worldwide thing, and it's just kind of. It's great, but on a corny level. It's fun that you do this. For example, during the pandemic, and during the war in Ukraine, I was feeling really stupid about being an actor because you go like, what am I doing? I'd literally played dress up, and pretend. But I had a friend of mine she works in the emergency room. She's a anesthesiologist, and she had a horrendous time, obviously during the pandemic, just watching person after person die. And she kind of scolded me. She said, if it wasn't for you guys making TV shows and movies, there'd be nothing to distract me from my job that is so hard. And it didn't quite convince me, but it did one of the few benefits of doing TV shows and stuff is for 20, 30 minutes or an hour, a couple hours, I know what it feels like if I've had a rough day and I'll turn on a show I like that just take me away for a while to make me laugh, and so that's kind of fun. Knowing that. It's just weird knowing someone in Pakistan is watching.
You never know.
Shot a year.
We could have Pakistan somewhere watching.
Someone in the Hudson Valley watching. That's weird.
For you, it's pretty close to home, right?
Yeah, and you have France.
We're in Hudson.
You have France, Finland,
the UK.
The UK. You got a bunch of people watching right now.
Oh my God! Hello.
And obviously, I think Linda said that she was able to. Linda's in France, and she said she was able to find She-Hulk, and she's watched the first 2 episodes. She loves it. Pi is obviously here. Pi is in Finland, and we all remember.
Hello, Pi.
Yeah.
Yes.
We all remember what happened with Pi last time.
Yes.
But so, for those of you who maybe if you haven't had a chance to watch it yet, and you don't mind a spoiler or whatever, but Steve plays in a law firm. It's GLK&H, and
you're the H,
and he is the H. Like
H.
He is Mr. Holloway, and he is basically the only lawyer who ever appears in the comics as well. So
that's true.
He's the man.
Yeah.
He's the guy.
And I said this to a friend of mine, right? But this is an aspect of the superhero world you don't think about, right? Is if an enhanced individual, needs a lawyer, who are they going to hire? And a lot of law firms might shy away from that because it could be seen as a losing case because they cause all this destruction and everything. And it's cool to think because I have a feeling that the law firm is going to play a very big part in Phase 5.
We're very busy, yeah, because it's like, well, it's funny, you think of all the damage that my God, look what they did to New
that's
York.
what caused the Sokovia Accords.
I was going to say, we have the Sokovia Accords.
Yeah,
and...
exactly. It's like it's kind of fun that there are real world consequences for all that stuff they do. It actually makes it's kind of fun. So we're busy.
Yeah, and I'm just scanning through some questions here real quick. I think this is from Linda. It says, in one interview you said, as a kid, I was a huge Captain America and Spider-Man fan. Are you still a fan of these superheroes?
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. I've seen, and I usually like the Captain America movies. He's maybe about 3 times each. I just rewatched Civil War maybe about a year ago. It's kind of fun. You remember when you were a kid and you played like comedy albums over and over? I felt like I watched I just like Captain America so much and the whole Bucky stuff, and I loved Spider-Man, the last one. I just thought they did a great job, and it was, even if you weren't a fan of Marvel, it was a great story, And they what I find is I'm not a well, no, I guess I am a huge fan. I just find I'm rewatching like some of the movies are so intense, like when the Avengers just all died. It was so intense. I remember walking out of the theater going, I'm not sure if I like it. I was just kind of overwhelmed. Then I saw it again, when it's out on video and stuff. And I found enjoying them even more. You get sort of more of the nuance and the stuff. So yeah, I am still huge. Those are still probably Captain America, Spider-Man are still probably my favorite Marvel characters. I liked Iron Man more in the movies than I did in the comic. I mean, I remember getting Iron Man comics.
Yeah.
For something about I don't know if it was the humor. Something about Captain America though. I played Captain America as a kid with my friends. So that's how much.
Did you use the old trash can lid for the shield?
I try to remember. I actually may have.
That's what I used.
That's when you had metal trash cans.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's flip up rolling things.
Right.
They're like they could actually harm somebody with.
Yes, it
I
happened.
didn't paint anything, but I remember. I don't know why that coloring book is cemented in my, because I remember painting. I guess because it's all primary colors. It's red, white, and blue. Almost every single page, and it's just very. I still have. I may have to go get one.
I'll say coloring books are very therapeutic.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I loved it. I would just sit, and I had a thick. I wish I still had it. It was a thick damn coloring book. It was like I wasn't kidding around.
So with us not knowing the future of obviously the rest of the episodes and anything like that, and without being able to know what your further future is with the show, I mean,
Yes.
you're gonna be around for a while, a little bit there. I mean, can we speculate that we'll see more of you?
I don't know.
Okay.
Really?
All right.
I don't know, man.
All right. Someone's always has to ask that question where I have to be like beat around the bush about it.
I can tell you I don't get my throat slit.
So, I mean,
That's good.
were you able to walk away with a little piece of like any set memorabilia or anything? Did they like, oh, you could like, you took a piece of green paint or something?
I took Tatiana's wallet.
Oh. So you're a pickpocket.
Does that count? Yeah.
She's knocked out. You're like, you know what? I'm just gonna grab that real quick.
Was that at the bar scene when you saw at the bar? You figured.
Why not? No, I did. It's funny because, and also a lot of the stuff isn't real.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Taking a piece of green screen. They do give you your you get your little character chair thing, the cast chair. Yeah, that's a tradition on a lot of shows and movies that when you're done for that season or that, you get to take that home, which it's just kind of
That's
fun.
really
You just
cool.
stick it in.
I never heard that.
I have a box, special box that I keep those.
Did you
in.
get
Yeah,
one
it's kinda-
for Yellowstone too?
No, I wasn't there long
No.
enough because I only did like 3 episodes. Did get something. What did I
Cowboy
get?
hat, some boots. A horse, right?
Because almost always you get some little thing. Sometimes they're really cool.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't remember if I got something else. So look, but I have a little special box where I stuff all those things. And one day when I'm an old man, like next week, I'll look at them. Hey, look what Papa used to do. He was on television.
It'd be like, remember those things
Ready
called
for my
TVs?
fish
Because we'll have something completely different.
Yeah, we'll be watching it on our
Yeah.
wrists or
Like a hologram projector in the
Right.
living room.
Remember those TVs where you hung on the wall?
Those are good times.
You and your
Well,
holograms.
I know that Steve. I know Steve can't say anything, but IMDb does say he's there through episode 9. So I'm just reading IMDb. So he's not giving anything away. I'm just reading the
Okay.
internet. So
We're allowed to read the internet out
True
loud.
or not, who knows?
Yeah.
And IMDb can lie also. Just putting that out there.
I'm actually hoping I'm excited because I'm hoping I get my little IMDb credit for where I played a cop on Poker Face.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
Oh, really?
yeah.
Oh.
So
Well, you should.
I didn't
Yeah,
get
you
to
should
take
be able
anything
to. My
home
son
though.
has his, and he was just my son was just in little bit things, and he's got his own. So I'm sure
Yeah.
you can.
So I won't see that show or anything until next year sometime, but you know. That's it.
Well, and speaking of IMDb, can you tell us anything about We Have a Ghost that you're going to be in?
I heard
Yeah,
about
yeah,
that.
That is like, I'm excited
Yeah, I
about
heard
that
about
one.
I'm not, and I'm excited too, not because I'm in it, but because it's funny because when they sent me, I hadn't seen the script, and when I saw there was an audition for We Have a Ghost, I was like, I'm trying not to do horror movies that much, because I did The Conjuring and The Insidious, which I really love. But there is a little danger in getting like, oh, you do horror.
That's what you do, yeah.
I like doing that, and the fans are incredible. But just as an actor, you like to do different stuff. So I was, and they said, no, it's not a horror movie. And I was like, okay, well, let me see. And they sent me the script, and it's got scary parts. But the best way I could describe it, it's like the movie is like E.T. with a ghost. And it's really funny. It's really exciting. It's genuinely exciting. But it's just so Christopher Landon wrote it. He's Mike Landon's son. Really good filmmaker. And the kind of director that, to be a director, you got to be this benevolent dictator because you got to keep stuff moving. You can't but he's a really nice guy, and he knows exactly what he wants. It's like a good architect. And he got some really good. There's Anthony Mackie and David Harbour, Tig Notaro. I don't know if you know her. She's kind of my nemesis in the show. She's she's kind of a conspiracy fan, researcher who just bothers the hell out of me. And that was so much fun. But yeah, I think
Jennifer Coolidge is in it also.
Yeah, we had just done a movie together.
Okay.
And we missed each other, I think, by a day because I'm not in any of her scenes, and she lives part-time of the year in New Orleans. So we actually got to see each other because I was there. I was supposed to be there only like about 5 weeks, and I was there like 2 months because we had a hurricane in the middle.
Oh wow!
But I got to see her while I was there, and yeah, she's in there.
And I saw Anne Mahoney has a part in it.
Yes, she does. Yes, she.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I think she's from Louisiana.
Yep.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a really fun, good movie, and the young actors they have are great. They're not like they don't seem like some young actors like actors. They seem like yeah, but they're really great, and I'm looking forward to it. It's just someone who loves good movies because the story is one of the best scripts I've ever. It just some movies how they go like great beginning, great middle. And then it's like they went, well, we don't know how to finish it. Let's just turn off the camera. But this has a great, it's beginning, middle, ends perfectly, and it's that's why I compared it to E.T. It's very moving without being corny. It's just like, it's going to be great. I'm not sure when it's coming out. I thought it might come out around Halloween or so, but it may come out later. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's going to be fun.
Interesting. Yeah, I'd heard about that too, and I was wondering, where it was going to sit on the meter of like horror or.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's scary, but it's not. Yeah, I wouldn't call it horror. It's or even like it's a ghost, but the ghost is. Well, I won't say it.
No, I'm scared.
Yeah, it's a little harsher than Casper.
Here's something actually. So, you getting the role in general on She-Hulk. So how did that play out? Was that like traditional, or is that where you did like you sent in the video, or you did like the video form, or?
Pretty traditional. It was again, as I mentioned, or I was talking to someone earlier or a few days ago that they like The Walking Dead, they disguise the role. So you don't know. When you have something like that if it's derivative of because I guess if it got out, because some actors are boneheads, and if they sent out audition material that had like Holloway on it, they go, oh, then there's going to be a whole thing. So it was Nicholson was his name, but the only thing that was different is that it's kind of odd because of the pandemic. There were no in-person auditions pretty much in the country, so you get a basic character description, but they also, I didn't know it was going to be basically Marvel's first comedy, really. So when I did it, the character has those elements of authority. So I was pretty straightforward,
Right.
thinking it's more of a drama. But then they said, I guess I can't remember how much time went by. They said that they'd liked it, but it's a comedy, so just it's not like you do it funny, but it does have a different sense. So I knew that, and since then I had time to think about it, and also I think I'd gotten and researched the character. No, I guess I couldn't have researched it till I knew. No, I guess I hadn't. But you start looking at, well, what are the other colors in there, and so part of the fun I had with Holloway is kind of he enjoys his authority so much. And I got to play around with that where we have a lot of these little phone. Holloway, in a lot of the scenes, I'm on the phone or I pick up a phone at the end of the scene, and I'm not sure how much they'll keep. They kept it for the second episode where I'm talking to someone and they just let me improvise. We're just saying, send so and so to Minnesota. He hates the cold. Let so and so go. So I think I had a little more fun with the authority, because he's a partner at the most successful law firm in the city.
It's authority. The way I've read his character so far is authority, but there is a very dry humor in almost his delivery of things.
Yeah.
So it's like authoritative, but you could tell that there's like a glimmer of like just soft humor, but like dry.
Because he's not afraid. I don't think he's not afraid. He's like very comfortable in his own skin.
Right.
So, but what's fun about that is that Jen, She-Hulk, messes with him because she just she doesn't follow the rules, and he's used to doing follow the rules. But you know how someone who has a lot of people that will do exactly what he says, or she, do exactly what she says. When there's someone that doesn't, it's kind of refreshing, even though it's really frustrating. It's also like I kind of respect her, the fact that she is so independent. So that adds another whole, and that's part of the fun too of acting because Tatiana, the actress, has so much confidence and just radiates. She radiates kind of a mischievous quality. So you're working off of that too, and so it all becomes, they start affecting how you play your character. And also knowing it's always fun playing someone who has a lot of power, because especially when your first day on set, because you're always nervous. But if your character is really powerful, it's kind of like, well, fake it till you make it. My first day on set of We Have a Ghost, my character basically, that wasn't the dialogue, but I'm basically telling Anthony Mackie to shut the hell up and sit down. And instead of being nervous about it, it's just like, it's fun. You get to come in and order people around, and so it's a lot. Having power is a lot of fun, and you get to wear cool clothes.
You got some great suits. Got them power lawyer suits going on.
Well, the costume designer, his name Ann Foley, and she is, oh my God, because going to see her, she was like, again, one of these people that is so prepared and has very, very specific, very expensive, very specific kind of clothing to wear. And the minute on these suits is like, that's I'm the guy. I remember reading, De Niro wore, when he played Capone in The Untouchables, I think he wore like $500 silk boxers as Al Capone, because it made him. I did not do that. But the clothes can make you feel, remember as a kid you put on a cape, you feel kind of, and having these really nice tailored suits. I don't have suits. I have a suit and a half.
Right.
So you put these on, and it's like you stand different, and
it helps you get into that character. You get into character mode.
Absolutely, and there's a lot of, and then you walk into the set for the office is the size of the bottom floor of my house. In terms, and a lot higher, and so you walk in there, and it's like, damn.
So, talk about the sets, because obviously, it's it's high rises, it's downtown city and everything. So what was the set actually like? What was it?
They did, we did very little Well, there's some locations, and a lot of the outside stuff, even some of the outside was studio stuff. All my stuff was in a set that they built. They built the interior of, GLK&H's law offices, which again, it's LA, it's the top tier law office in the city. And they built it, and I know what, it looks like, everything looks like it's marble, and it's not, but it sure looked like it. Glass, everything, and it was two and a half stories, a whole entrance coming up. There's some green screen to beyond that, but entire offices. And they had a room that I think you saw in the walk and talk, a room of the comic books, which I spent a lot of time in during free time because it's it was like walking to a comic store.
There was a hint I saw online about the comic that shows in the office of in one of the offices. There's a comic on the wall, and I believe it's She-Hulk issue #1.
Yeah,
they have.
There's for Easter eggs and stuff. You could just be pausing all day long.
Yeah,
they built this stuff, and oftentimes, and even all the computers were actual working computers and phones and office supply. It's just the little detail that they went to.
Wow.
It's just it's just really fun, and you're walking around a giant playhouse. And that's where I guess it helps to have the backing of Marvel and Disney, and they have the resources. But one thing that was really cool, I've been on movies where you see them wasting money, where you see like, man, I see why movies cost so much.
Right.
I didn't see any wasted money. Everything was there. They weren't building like sets that no one's ever going to see. Everything was going to be seen at some point, but they just wanted to make sure it's authentic and it gives that feeling. And it's just that attention to detail. The craftsmanship, like the people that prepare the props and things, the rocks, like when Tatiana breaks through the walls, you behold it. Like we had, there were pieces of cinder block on our desk, and I'm holding it, and even though it's as light as a piece of foam, because that's what's made out of, you swear that it's like even looking at it right up close. And so it's the kind of, I supported myself as a carpenter when I first started, and you really appreciate that the people that do the work and the stuff that you're not going to see, behind the lighting outlet. It's that quality of workmanship, and that was across the board. And that is just kind of inspiring to see that kind of detail.
I asked the question. She goes, "Are the office memos that you would get, are they actually an office memo, or is it just a blank piece of paper and you have to remember the line?"
That's a great question, Pi. You get an extra slice of pie. No, that's a great question. No, it's great. That's the thing. Like and those are things that no one will see, but there'll be a memo that someone will write, and then there's going to be like 6 of them because sometimes they keep getting delivered. There's a scene for something that happens later, and there are. Oh, I can't say. There's a thing that you look at, and that thing is cool. How's that for?
All right.
Exciting. You're gonna stay tuned for that.
Got me on the seat, right on the edge of the seat right now.
That's a great question. Because there's things like in the second episode when I hand over to Jen, the Blonsky sign.
Blonsky,
That's just not. I've done so many TV movies and stuff that it would be just like gibberish or whatever. But this was like a real legal form waiver signed by this, that, and I was like, that's why I was like, holy crap! And I just started looking at all this kind of cool stuff that they do, and again, that someone sat up and took the time to do that, and then as an actor. You don't have to pretend it. You're looking at this thing, and it's like, it's just, it's so cool.
Can we real quick talk about probably my favorite, my favorite part of episode 2?
Oh, I know it.
Was when Jen was talking to Bruce, and he's on the ship, and he's on the phone, and she's asking his forgiveness about representing Emil Blonsky.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, it happened a long time ago. It was like I was a different person." Literally. I was like, that's amazing.
I got this. That's my favorite line that's been in the series so far. And I think I heard that he came up with saying literally. Because that was, with one line, it just sort of it tips the cap to all those movies we either enjoyed or suffered through or I love it. I got to see it. They did a little premiere out in Los Angeles, and they showed the first 4 episodes, and that line I think got the biggest laugh.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean it's cool because like in a lot of ways, the Incredible Hulk, the movie it laid the groundwork for the MCU in a lot of ways that people don't realize.
Oh yeah,
It did, but it didn't get the credit
It deserves.
And I think a lot of that had to do because of the imbalance in the actors that they,
Mhm.
they went from.
yeah. It's weird. Is there so much? People talk about how hard it is to make a movie, but the thing about like if Iron Man had been made with someone other than Robert Downey Jr., and if it hadn't been, the chemistry between him and Jon Favreau, and then,
The first option was Tom Cruise,
yeah, I think I read.
and I'm like, I don't think I could have. I don't think it would have.
Resonated as well.
I don't think I would have cried at the end of Infinity War like I did.
Don't get me wrong, I love
And
Tom
then,
Cruise, but
guys, they happen to get. I think once they knew what they kind of had, you knew a certain kind of. Almost every actor they have is really good at comedy. Think of Chris Hemsworth. There's no one that's like, and it just doesn't. And I remember thinking, I thought about this recently. If someone other than Tatiana was playing She-Hulk, it just would, because that show has a bite. It has a, there's some feminist stuff, but it's not like rah. It's like good common sense.
Yep.
Yeah, she has to hold in a lot of rage because I do it every fucking day.
Yeah.
And she has a certain integrity to it and that groundedness, and I think that's a good point you make, because it's just like they had some of the pieces. Like I think that first Incredible Hulk show that there's an appetite for this. It's like kind of like Lord of the Rings, and also the technology finally caught up to could tell a standing story now. Like Lord of the Rings, you couldn't do Lord of the Rings until Peter Jackson and Weta Workshop and stuff. And now you get Sandman and all this stuff where like anything is possible, which is really kind of. You'll read a book now. I remember reading books going, oh man, they could never make a movie out of this. Now it's like, oh yeah, I guess they.
Yeah, you can basically do anything you want now.
Yeah, went out.
It's sad too to see how some of the actors from the franchises have received so much, like, I don't want to say hate, but yeah, I mean it's just like Chris Pratt got so much shit for being Star-Lord. I never understood it. I'm like, I think he did an amazing job in that role. I know the comics, and it's just stuff like that. When I read about all the hate that She-Hulk received online with all these 1-star ratings before it even aired.
Well, because a lot of people were rubbed the wrong way because in the trailer the CGI looked it looked clunky. But the thing is, it wasn't finished in production yet.
Right. Yeah.
If you look at the pre-CGI stuff of Rocket Raccoon,
Ooh. What about Sonic the Hedgehog?
Oh my god!
Like, come on.
Yeah, and people, I guess it's the nature. If you think of like the nature of the internet is anyone can sort of go, like I'm tired of living in my mother's basement. But I know I read one thing. One guy went, "There's too many female Marvel heroes." It's like,
have you ever read a comic? Like, have you ever dove into the Marvel universe?
And how obscene some stuff in the comics is. And trying to translate that into a live action movie doesn't always work. So you have to take certain liberties with it.
And here's the thing: like, if you were a Marvel or a DC fan, whatever, both, and you actually like. Those comics were harsh. They were raw. I mean, and like you said, like they can't. Not that they couldn't. Of course, you can make every Marvel movie rated R if you wanted to. Obviously, Disney curtails away. Like they don't do that.
Yep.
But they are also able to show that there's a way to do it without having to do that and be very successful.
And not being, for example, like I have nieces and nephews in Canada, and a lot of the stuff I do, they can't watch. It's not like, hey, let's watch Insidious 2.
Okay.
But also, it's fun for grown-ups too. It's not like, same thing with, Guardians of the Galaxy. There's so much for, us older people. And yeah, so it's just like, I just think, there's so many, it goes back to there's just too many people with opinions, and it's fine. And I understand. I mean, if you're looking for just special effects or just the dialect,
Right.
you know, it's like you're gonna find something you don't like. I'd love to take them. Anyone who complains about special effects is like, come here, let me show you how hard these guys work. How they are working way after we go home. They're oh my god, crunching stuff, and oh my lord, and they might have a different opinion. And it's like, you know, everything, you could always improve something, but and no one's ever going to be really happy. And again, just the thing about I've read some stuff. It's like, man, that's just mean. Mainly because she's a woman lead, and it's like, and they say like hitting us over the head. It's like they ain't hitting anybody over the head.
They have plans on releasing a whole series with the I forget their name, but it's all the women that formed in Endgame. At the very end when they fought Thanos, all the women that formed, there's an actual story arc that they're going to do.
Oh, yeah. Really? Oh.
And it's based off of, it's with Gwen Paltrow, and she's playing the Iron Rescue, yeah. And then, Scarlet Witch, and just all of them together. Yeah. And, that's an actual story arc. So it's like, if you're complaining about having a woman lead on one show, what are you going to do when they make an actual whole movie series out of it? You're not going to go watch it? Yeah. Bullshit. You're going to go watch it.
Yeah. It's just a movie. Enjoy yourself. If you don't like it, you don't have to be. But people are mean.
Well, that's like Steve. Did you watch Thor: Love and Thunder?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So I love that movie. I thought it was hysterical. It was a nice change of pace for me from the MCU, because especially coming off of Endgame and No Way Home, there was a lot of serious overtones to it and everything. And for me, it was hysterical. Like when they're flying the ship and they crash into the planet, and the goats scream. For me, was just amazing. I couldn't stop laughing, and I love it. I loved it. But people again hated on it so hard in the theaters and in the reviews.
And they go, well, it's not the same as the first one. It's like, because the first one was the first one, and it kind of broke the mold of Marvel movies. You can't redo that. So they got a little. It was too silly. It's like, well, they just got a little sillier. They're having fun, and again, it's not nuclear fusion. It's a movie.
My only complaint was that it was one of the Marvels. It was like the shortest film they've done so far.
That's a hard thing. So that didn't bug me, but I do. Some people, it's like they are, because Marvel movies are usually pretty.
You got 2+ hours usually, and this was, I think, just cut short of 2 hours. And to me though, when I've watched it, I do feel like it's choppy. Like you have your whole scene play out, and then it's just chopped into another immediate scene of something else going on. I wish they just would have given more story and given us 2.5 hours.
That's interesting.
That's my only complaint.
Because they've already. It's just like, I'm amazed. Because remember, for a while, there's a whole period where movies were an hour and a half. I mean, romantic comedies and most comedies need to be an hour and a half. But then we will, if it's good, we will sit through it. If it's I
thought it was great because, again, spoilers, so we're spoiling a lot, but
it's been a while.
But if you watch the post-credit scene, right, Natalie Portman, she's dead. Jane Foster has died from her cancer, and
storybook arc,
100%. And where does she end up? She ends up in Valhalla. And the first person she meets is Heimdall with Idris Elba, who I love. I love Heimdall. He's one of my favorites.
That was and that was it's so silly, but I got teary. I mean, I was just
when he said thank you for looking out for my son.
I was just like, oh.
Yeah, that was actually I know that Heimdall was not a major character, even though he had some very important roles throughout the Thor movies.
He was a significant character. He really was significant. He didn't have a lot of screen time, but he had a lot of meaning.
Without him, Earth 616 never gets warning about Thanos.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's the fun of this. I mean, that's what I think Marvel does really well is they're good at they're good to their fans. They know those little things you like. And those little, again, when you referenced earlier the thing about I'm a different person, entirely. It gives credit to and some people it'll go over their head because they haven't seen the movies and stuff. But I love that they do those little Easter eggs, and not in a geeky insider, but in a joyful, fun. because these movies are meant to be fun,
Right.
and they do
Yep.
this much fun stuff that if you happen to catch, or maybe you're watching it again and you go, oh man, that's the. It's just, and all those little Easter eggs that are in She-Hulk when the, like the help wanted ads and it says like men with
Metal claws.
claws.
Yeah, men with metal claws. Yeah.
Yeah, just those little things that are just like, that's just it makes you feel appreciated as a fan.
That's one thing that I don't know if anybody here watched it, but all the CW DC shows. I'm a huge DC fan. For me, DC Comics was where it's at. I mean, I have a Flash tattoo. I've got a Deathstroke tattoo. I love DC Comics, and so in Flash, like the first season, Barry Allen, he sees a newspaper article from I think like 30 years, 20 years in the future, something like that. And it says, Flash vanishes in Crisis, which is a nod to the, Crisis on Infinite Earths, where they merged all of their properties together. But on the bottom left, there's a newspaper article. And the newspaper article is written by Iris West Allen, who is his wife in the comics and the show. And on the bottom, it says Wayne Industries and Wayne Tech and Queen Industries merged to form one company. And it's a nod to Batman and Green Arrow and their companies merging.
Oh,
And for me, that was like a nerd moment. I was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah.
And everyone's like, "What are you talking about?"
I'm just excited about what She-Hulk is going to help open up too. She is a barrier breaker when it comes to the
fourth wall.
The fourth wall.
Yep.
I mean,
there's one other major character who breaks the fourth wall. And I'm just gonna say that that would be kind of a cool interaction, seeing them interact. I'm just saying.
Yeah, there's more than. I mean, you got, as far as time travel goes,
I'm saying people that are already established as being.
You got Cable
on TV. Well, yeah, true. Cable does. Yeah.
Cable does too.
Yeah, true.
So I mean,
see.
But yeah, I did see the thing about the man with the claws.
Mm-hmm.
That was a cool little hint.
Yep.
Because we've yet to see a mutant. Well,
not true.
Because they say that Scarlet Witch is a mutant.
Well, no, but also Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan.
Well, yeah. Well, she's been identified as a mutant, correct? Yeah. But they've also said that it's possible that Quicksilver and Scarlet were both mutants.
Renee, while those two guys are talking about that stuff, let's hear me talk.
Okay.
They could go on for hours.
Trust me, I know. I try to get involved and I'm like, nope, don't know what they're talking about. And they know it.
I'll stop. I'm sorry.
No.
Everybody in the chat's yelling.
You're fine. You're fine. But Linda did have a question.
Yeah, I know. I saw that from Linda, yes.
I lose it. So Linda was perusing your Instagram and she saw that you were in a race car and she wanted to know what that was about.
Oh, okay.
She's a big Formula One fan.
Oh, well, it goes back to, I wanted to get my wife a present for Christmas. And they have the Atlanta Motor Speedways here. And I thought, she loves driving. She's a really good driver, better than me. She hates driving as me. Her feet go through, there should be hand imprints of the dashboard, because what I'll do is I'll be in the middle of a turn and tell a story and just kind of slow down and tell the story. She'd be like, get through the intersection. Anyway, so I thought I'd get her. They have a thing at the Atlanta Motor Speedway where you get to drive a car. You get a couple laps with a driver. As a passenger, to give you the lay of the land, you have to go in an hour, 2 hours early to get to take a little course. And then you get to drive God, how many laps did I do? 15, 20 laps?
Oh, wow.
By yourself. And, but she said, that's too fast for me. And I was like, well, someone has to use it. I guess I'll do it. Yeah, so it was terrifying. When I did the test run with the driver, he's going very fast. And I was like, this was a big mistake. I think I'm going to die. There's no way I can drive this by myself. And I thought, it was like going to school. I'm just going to go. I'm going to call my mom and dad and have them pick me up. But once it was over, I went, oh, come on. When are you going to get, what's happening?
Your alarm.
When do you get checked? If I get off at a tangent, alarms go off. I had that installed in my but no, so I got to do it, and it is, oh my God, it is so much
Were
fun.
these exotic cars or NASCARs or?
It's NASCARs. It's a real NASCAR, but you can't. I still didn't go. I probably went maybe 150, 160. It felt like 400 miles an hour. But yeah, I just thought, in hindsight, I'd like to maybe do it again. I could go a little faster, but it was fast enough, and it was So that was too much fun. That was really
That's a
fun.
good gift too. It's very thoughtful.
Yeah, and then you got to use it.
Yeah.
So I got her a gift certificate to Taco Bell. So
Where you would need a race car when you're done eating it to get home.
exactly. But I could see why folks like Paul Newman and stuff got hooked on it, because it's the adrenaline you get.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, okay, I see what. Yeah, it's pretty fun.
So the professionals they got in there and took you around too?
Yeah, that was terrifying.
Because you're doing like 180, 20 miles an hour.
Soiled myself. Because it was like, I thought, does he know that we're going to die? I think he doesn't realize how fast he's going. And he was just like, I'm like,
It was like Will Ferrell
I'm
and
trying,
Talladega
and I
Nights.
didn't breathe. I did realize I forgot to breathe. I was like, for one whole lap, I was like, and I went, well, maybe that's why I'm feeling afraid, because I don't have any oxygen going to my brain.
Them G-forces will do it to you, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's another thing. I thought, how am I going to hold on to the steering wheel when my face is pulled off of my skull? And, but I didn't. I managed to. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Very cool.
Sounds like it.
All I'm picturing is Will Ferrell in Talladega Nights. How fast is he going? 20 miles per hour.
Well, that's the thing, too, because it kicks in that thing of like, because there's other people on the track. Like, you're not alone. There's other people, and some people in the little class I went to were questionable, because there are people that, like, one guy was saying, like, yeah, last time I was here, they pulled me off the track. And I was like,
Like with a spatula or?
so, like, yeah, because I was just breaking too many rules. I was like, oh, great, and you're driving with me. That's true. You're gonna be... So like as you pass people and people pass you, so that's a little nerve wracking, and you don't. It's not like you have rear. I guess I did have mirrors, but you just because you're locked in, and it's not. Yeah, it's not like you're going. There's no turn signal.
Yes.
Let me just.
So Linda wanted to know, if you had a superpower, what would it be? And I'm just going to assume it would be to be able to be a better driver fast. That you want to be able to drive
Yes,
quickly.
well, to be able to drive and not slow down when I talk. Yes, I want to fly. That's what I want. I don't know if that would be my. I have these dreams where I fly, and it's yeah. I want to fly.
Do you crash land? How do you do you finish the flight?
No, it's great because it's a mind thing. I have to totally relax, and then I kind of go. That's the technical word for.
You turn into a Jetson car.
Basically, it has the same actual propulsion as a Jetson car. And but I have to like clear my mind. It's like an episode of Kung Fu, and then I just float down, and it's very impressive. People are like, "Wow, I didn't know you could fly." And then, and I always wake up in a very good mood and sad that I can't.
I mean, that'd be great to do every night, right? I mean, you fly to a different place.
And I've gotten like really, really high. So I was like, yeah, I've gotten really, really high.
That's before you fell asleep and dreamt you were flying.
That's right. I don't do that anymore. But yeah, I haven't had maybe I'll have one.
Yeah, I'm hoping you do.
Yeah, talking about it,
That'd be great. You could get a little message from you tomorrow and be like, guys, I flew last night.
Guys, I flew last night.
Did it all on my own.
Well, with that stash, maybe you'll be in Top Gun.
I'm a big boy.
Yeah. Put some aviators on them.
Oh yeah. I've never. Boy, I don't know if I could do that because I don't have a fear of heights, but I have a fear of dying.
That's fair. It's a solid fear to have. So it's pretty solid if I were to pick.
Yeah, that's a good fear. That's a healthy.
Yeah, healthy fear.
So since you're up to date, you've watched what transpired in the first 4 episodes. What's your take on Hulk then? And what do you think is going on with his storyline? Because I mean, I got a pretty good hunch
I don't think he can say anything.
that he's heading back to. Well, he probably can't, but I got a hunch. I'm going to assume that he's on his way back to Sakaar since it was a Sakarian spaceship. And I think down the road we might see a little World War Hulk take place, maybe in a Marvel movie kind of thing. Because I mean, you've read actual Hulk comics. You're like the comics themselves.
Yeah, I've read the actual Hulk. I not recently though. Not in a long time. Not in a
long time.
I'm good at talking.
I talks better and stuff.
Not many long time no read Hulk.
But yeah, I think that's gonna be, if they do go that route, I think that's gonna be an amazing storyline. I could, maybe a way to bring She-Hulk into the cinemas.
Yeah, I think one thing I do think there's no plan that I know, but even Mark Ruffalo mentioned it. Now that I'm sure she will probably be in movies now because she's part of the game.
I could only imagine would bring you into it if you're still part of. They got that law firm aspect.
Let's see, I don't know. That would be very fun.
And then we would be like, Steve, what are you doing? You want to come hang out and tell us all about it, please?
Then I won't answer.
He'll be like this, smoking a cigar, and be like, those guys?
I remember. How did you get this number? I'm a showbiz fanboy.
Do you mind if we talk about Yellowstone for a little bit?
No.
Okay.
No, you go ahead.
So I mean, so
while I'm here?
Yeah.
Please.
I'm a huge fan of the show. So when I saw you pop on in season 4, I was blown away. I was literally, you were the last person. Honestly, I was like, last person in my mind that I thought I was going to see on Yellowstone. So
me too.
Yeah. What was that?
I'm not kidding. I was like, because when I was very surprised because first of all, Kevin Costner has always been one of my favorite actors. I did a little role in a movie of his called Mr. Brooks years and years ago. I shot for like 2 days, whatever, and so I love his movies. I like him as a individual. I think he's very humble and stuff. So I was really not expecting to be on the show, and then I wasn't expecting to go back either because my character, if you've seen the show, he offers the job to the young woman, and she turns the job down. And when I was on set, I said to Taylor Sheridan and Kevin Costner, I said, she could say yes. Then I get a story arc. And they laughed and went, yeah, ha, ha, ha. But then the odd thing about it, the next season, I guess it was third, I can't remember how it went, first, second, 2, 3. I got because sometimes when you do a film or TV show, you get on kind of a network of when you're getting scripts through a special server and everything. And I got 2 scripts from Yellowstone. And I went, oh, they've just accidentally sent it to me because I used to be in the set. So I started looking at it like, wait a minute, my character's back because she changed her mind. And I was like, holy mackerel. And so we joked about that when I went back saying, she did change her mind. But it was so much. And I love, and 1883 too.
Yeah.
Oh, magnificent. That was just
everything that he's putting out, Sheridan there, everything he's putting out is just been great. I mean, he's got the Sylvester Stallone Kansas City Mob show coming out.
And he did you see what's the movie he did with Chris Pine and and Jeff Bridges, Hell or High Water?
Sounds right.
The brothers.
I didn't see it.
So good. Really, really. He just he can write the hell out of stories. He's got so many damn stories in his head.
Well, because all the spin-offs with Yellowstone, he's got the 666, the 4-6 Ranch.
It's nuts.
And I mean, so your only regret is you didn't get to ride a horse?
That was because it was like I'm a college professor or college president. You know, it was like I want to ride because, as I said, I'm up at the ranch, which is a house up in Montana. It's
Was
not
that
a
your
set.
first
It's
time in like out there?
First time I've been to Montana. Yeah, I've been to California and I've been up to the Canadian Rockies, but I've never been to Montana. And it is everything I had imagined.
Really?
It is literally, because when you're in a set, they have like a waiting area where actors are. And they said, Steve, do you want your chairs inside? It's like, why would I want to sit inside? Because that house sits up and you just can see all around you, just mountains and rolling hills. And it's
So that house
literally-
that's on that ranch, it's all
Yeah.
real.
It's a real house. They have built it out. Like I think they built the stables and the riding ring, some other stuff. I think they renovated or expanded the house. I think they expanded the porch that goes around. But that house was there.
Jesus.
I'm not sure who owned it, but yeah, it's a real house, and it's a weird thing because there's a lot of little towns near there that are just like regular blue collar little towns, but these billionaires have built these massive cabins and houses up in the hills. It's a really strange, with helipads and stuff. Well, just like stuff. So,
So then when
yeah,
you filmed, did you film like on a set, or was that an actual like?
no, we shot inside the
Wow.
house.
So they turned that house into like that scene, like the college.
That's
college
it. Yeah,
scene.
that big the main room, which looks like a lodge almost. That's the house. That's where we were in the kitchen. All this, and I think they have certain sets because we did when I went back the next year. I didn't go to Montana. I went to Park City,
Okay.
where they have some studios.
Oh, yeah.
But we actually shot in. Where did we go? We went over to Salt Lake City. I think that's where we went for the college stuff. So I've never for Yellowstone. I've never shot on a set. It's all been
Wow.
on location. I think. So
Yeah, I mean, when you watch that show on TV, it's just like, I'm sure it's nothing compared to what it's like in person, but the mountain,
It's just-
the skyline.
it's it shows like you go. Anything can happen. Anything can happen on that show.
Yeah,
And it
And it
does.
does, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. for sure.
But just as far as like the scenery alone is just absolutely breathtaking. Like,
Yeah, it's. I was saying the hotel I was staying at. I just went for a walk, and I was walking over just this little bridge over this creek, and I just took a picture with my phone, and I was sending it to some people, and they said, "Oh, what a great filter you use." I was like, "There ain't no filter."
yeah,
Constantly are just the drive from. I think I flew into Missoula, and it was about an hour and a half drive to get to the location. And it's just like your jaw is just dropping. It's like literally God's country. It's like, and it makes you feel delightfully insignificant. Just go, the world's going to be here way long after we're here. Because look at this stuff. It's just like any little worries you have kind of go, or they go.
it's virtually it's untouched land for the most part.
Well, yeah, I get. Well, it's untouched, but I don't know if it's unowned. But it's like you do see. Yeah, when you're flying over it too, or just driving through it, you just go. You don't see any houses. You go through a little town, and it's just. You forget how big the country is, and especially out that area. And it's just like I live in Atlanta, and where we have a lot of trees, so you don't see the horizon very much unless you go up to the mountains. And the thing about going out west is just like it clears your head because you can see for just 100 miles. It's man. I understand why a lot of people want to build houses out there. I've been out to Arizona and New Mexico, the same kind of thing where it's just it clears your brain.
And at night too, without all the lighting and everything around, the
sky is bright with stars, which is crazy. Like now, for me, I live just barely outside of Atlanta, and you'll see a dozen stars or so. But there, it's literally, it is bright. It's nuts. It's
so it's a bucket list now for most people.
Yeah. It's really nice. It's like
That's how I felt when I landed when I was in Texas. I landed at Dallas Fort Worth Airport and then took a connecting flight to Amarillo, And when I got to Amarillo, I just looked out and it was just like you could see for like miles. It was just flat.
Isn't that crazy? It's just
Yeah,
crazy.
and then we're from
It's
you know
just-
we're obviously we're from New York, and there's mountains and there's terrain everywhere. There's trees everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Now, Renee, where are you?
I'm in Georgia, very south in Georgia. Yeah,
We're in Georgia.
in a little dinky town called Norman Park.
Now, where is it near? Because I know Georgia really well.
Tifton. Do you know where-
Tifton is where they talk through their teeth. Because no, isn't it true? Because there's a lot. You go to Tifton, and I'm not kidding. Because I used to go. I had family there, or for my wife, and they talk through the teeth because there's so many gnats.
Yes, there's gnats here. My husband, he's like kind of. We've only lived here since April, so he's not. We didn't know about the gnats.
It's not pretty. No, it's like.
They don't bother me, so maybe I'm stinkier than he is, or I don't know.
Poor Pops. I didn't
Yeah.
call him Daddy.
Thank you
Well,
for that.
see.
Yeah.
It's an inside joke, Steve.
Yes.
Okay.
Renee's husband Josh is like he's like I don't want to say
He's
I
the
don't wanna
father.
insult him.
He's the father figure.
He's the father figure of the group.
Yes.
Like if we need something and we can't take care of it ourselves, he'll help us out and take care of it.
Yeah. So that's why we started
Yeah.
this thing a few weeks ago.
Oh, that's nice. Oh,
Yeah,
that's nice.
He's
Yeah.
a good guy.
Oh, that's good.
Call him
Oh,
Daddy. So what else do you have? So, I mean, I know we touched base on something you have going on, with the movie that's coming out. Do you got anything else on your plate right now?
There's I want to build a fence.
Yeah.
There's a movie I did. The movie that we shot down in the Dominican Republic, the Jennifer Lopez movie. That's called Shotgun Wedding,
Okay.
and it's kind of action, pretty severe action comedy, romantic comedy, a lot of action, with Jennifer Lopez, Josh Duhamel, Jennifer Coolidge. She's my wife. Darcy Carden, who you've seen on The Good Place. She's also in the new League of Their Own series. Okay. Sonia Braga from Kiss of the Spider Woman. Cheech Marin was there. Lenny Kravitz. These were my roommates for a month and a half. Cheech and I were like, on a set, you usually have a trailer to go to. Well, they didn't have trailers because we were in this resort where we were shooting a lot of it. So they gave us these little bungalows. And he and I were roommates, so we'd go in, we'd take little naps. So people took pictures of me and Cheech just napping together. That's like, but that comes out, I think, early 2023 or sometime first half of 2023, and that's going to be a lot of fun.
All right.
And other than that, I'm going to talk to my daughter as soon as I finish talking to you.
Very
guys.
nice.
She's in New York.
Okay. Well, we don't want to keep you from the daddy-daughter time, that's for sure. But I do appreciate. Obviously, we all appreciate you coming and spending some time with us.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, everybody in the chat has been very complimentary and saying thank you for your time and everything.
Oh well, thanks for watching this, damn. No, that's all for. I mean, if it wasn't for the people that watched it, the fans and stuff, I'd be out of a job.
Wow.
People, I don't do it, because people talk about I do it for the art, and I did. This isn't. I mean, it's fun. It's a problem-solving thing and stuff. But what's really fun is like you do this thing, you tell a story, and people see it, and you share that, and it's kind of that's the funnest
What they
part.
love the most is the fact is like when we have a really good person, really good storyteller like you on, where you just go into whatever it is we're talking
Tangents.
about.
Hits the
It's like you just once you hit that stride, everyone just sits there like this and they listen. It's story time with Steve.
Yeah.
When's it gonna stop?
No, not at all. Absolutely, it's the opposite. It's like,
we love it.
Yeah, absolutely love it.
Yes, we love it. Oh, and they wanted us to tell you they love your mustache also. That's been a topic of conversation.
This is Fireman Frank. But I also I don't have my glasses here. When I put my glasses on, I look like Fireman Frank's accountant or something. Like, hey, Frank, I'm going to come by the station later on today. Maybe a chili. So, well, thank you. That means a lot because I'm a very vain and superficial person.
With that being said, obviously we all wish you continued great success with everything you're doing.
Yes.
Likewise to you.
Oh, well, you know, if we didn't have people like you, we wouldn't have a hobby. So
Yeah, we wouldn't have anything.
We'd have no hobby.
Yeah, just be the three of us, and no one wants to listen to us.
Can you hear that?
Yes.
That's
All
my
right.
daughter.
we're gonna let you go so you can get that.
You better talk to your daughter.
Yeah, I'll be right there. I'm coming. She's like, you were supposed to call me at 8
Oh
o'clock.
no.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, you're 16 minutes late and she's fuming.
She's just like, Daddy's doing a podcast.
I'm serving my people, you know?
Now she's texting me saying, are you there? It's like, I'm coming. All right, I better go.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. I really enjoyed talking with you.
Appreciate
Yes.
it.
Been
Continued
fun.
success, and we'll
Appreciate
talk to you
your
soon.
Yes.
Yes, take care. Well, yeah, see you down the
Absolutely.
road.
Maybe at
Yeah.
the camp. You never know.
Yeah, there's a
Yes.
possibility. We'll see. Yes.
All right.
All right, Steve.
Have a good night.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Have a good night, everybody.
Yeah.
Good night, everyone. Love you guys. Peace.
Hey, Renee, Chris, and Ryan going live. Best podcast, Beauty and the Beast. Sit back and catch a vibe. Oh yeah, we talking zombies and apocalypses and all those things you like. Going beast mode, and if you didn't know, it's Peter Z up on the mic. Hey, TWD family, grab the snacks about the pantry and subscribe and like if you can, please. Or those walkers eat you like some candy. Hey, okay. You at the right place at the right time. No one does it better, that's the bottom line. Beauty and the Beast, this is prime time. Let's go.